Hey guys, we are now on the back of our 7.1.4 exponential decay. This is probably page 2 for you. If you did not print a copy and you're just writing things down, that is also fine with me. Remember, the notes are to help you to then be able to do the assignment. In addition to helping you learn about exponential decay, Half-Life can also provide insight into other special exponential properties. For example, part D of problem 744, you determined that 100 times a half to the 0 equals 100, and so 1 half to the 0 would equal 1. So what do you think 3 to the 0 power would equal? 1. What do you think negative 5 to the 0 power? 1. Anything to the 0 power equals 1. That's what we wrote here. Okay, so that's kind of like our conjecture is anything to the 0 power equals 1. What about x to the negative 1? Now, it gets a little tricky because you have a fraction inside of a fraction, so I'm going to kind of rewrite it as we go. So when x was negative 1, we would have 1 half to the negative first power. Well, that's going to equal 2, and here's how I know that. If I put, remember, negative exponent goes at the bottom of the fraction, so 1 over 1 half. So I'm taking 1 divided by 1 half. Well, when you divide by a fraction, it's like multiplying by the reciprocal. So you take it to 1 times 2, and then 1 times 2 is 2. So 1 half to the negative first power would equal 2. And here is how I know that. So now find the value of your equation where x equals negative 2. Use this information to make sense of the value 1 half to negative 2. Then as a team, write a conjecture about the value of x to the negative 2 where x does not equal 0. Test your conjecture by predicting the value of 3 to the negative second power and 2/3 to the negative second power. Be sure to test your prediction. So again, if I have 1 half to the negative second power, that's like putting it under 1, so 1 over 1 half squared. Well, 1 half squared is 1/4. 1 divided by 1/4, multiplying by the fraction means you flip it for the reciprocal. 1 times 4 is 4. So 1 half to the negative second power equals 4. So then you can try it. If you have x to the negative second power, again, you put it at the bottom of the fraction. 3 to the negative second power, again, you put it at the bottom of the fraction, 1 over 3 squared. 3 squared is 9, so it's 1/9. When you're doing this, another way to think about it is thinking about it as a reciprocal. So since you have a fraction to a negative exponent, if it's at the top of the fraction, it means it goes to the bottom, and if it's at the bottom of the fraction, it goes up. So it's just like you take these two, you flip it, and make it positive. So then 3 squared is 9, 2 squared is 4. You know what? I just realized that I skipped this. So I will do a Desmo. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to do a Desmos video so you can see those. So stay tuned for that as a screencastify after I'm done with this one. So then looking down here, just practicing these, I'm afraid that when I transferred this to Google, when I checked it out, I didn't see the actual problems. So you may need to really look at mine. Because if you printed it out, you may not have all of those. So let's look at these one at a time. 1/5 to the negative first power. Again, if you have a negative exponent, remember it's going to move it to the bottom of the fraction, or you can think of it like a reciprocal. And so since the 1's on top, it would go on bottom. Since the 5's on bottom, it goes on top. So it'd be to the 1/5 to the negative first is 5. 100 to the negative first, put it 1 over 100. So whatever the bottom is, put the 1 on top of it. Here's another fraction, so it's a good example of how you can just use the reciprocal. Or again, you could put 1 over 5/8 and walk through the steps like we did up here. And you'll see that it becomes 8/5. 1/3 to the negative second power. Again, think of it like a reciprocal. So when you flip those, you can make them positive. 3 over 1 squared. 3 squared is 9. 2/3 to the negative third power. Again, negative exponent, so you can do the reciprocal, and it becomes 3 over 2 to the third. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. This one, you can again think of it like a reciprocal, or since there's only a whole number there, just put 1 over 6 to the third power. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. And then, 3 over 2 to the negative first power, you can take it. Reciprocal becomes 2/3. 2 to the negative fifth, again, you could take it, think of it as a reciprocal. So in this case, if this was 2 over 1, then when you flip it, it'd be 1 over 2 to the fifth power. That's 1 over 32. Or since it's a whole number and you just want to put 1 over top of it, whichever way works for me. So if you have any questions, I will have a discussion board for you guys to discuss anything in here to get each other's help, and I will also be joining in on that. Also, let me know what time will work best for next Tuesday to go over the next set of notes. Thanks so much.